What up, YouTube? Let's hop on AMS2, drive some classic F1 cars. Alright, I was listening to a video the other day talking about the last V12 championship winning F1 car. And I got a little more interested in the 3.5 liter formula. So the 3.5 liter formula was basically, there wasn't a set cylinder amount. It just had to be 3.5 liters and naturally aspirated. So you got V8, V10, and V12, which took me back to a further conversation I had with my roommate from college, Bill, and he asked me, he was like, which do you think is better, a V8 or a V12? And my question is, are we talking NA and all of these different things? But this is the perfect way to further answer that question. And also, this class of car is the same class that wanted to do a league, try to start a racing league with on here. So we're gonna hop on AMS2. I'll show you the cars real quick, and we're gonna do Spa 1993 and compare them and kind of talk about them a little bit more. So stay tuned. All right. So a while back I mentioned that there were two classes of open wheel I would want to do for the league. One of them was the Formula USA Gen 3, and the other was the Formula Classic Gen 4. Now, this is the 1990, I think the 1993 season, while the Formula V12 was the last V12 Ferrari. But like I said, I came across a video and it was actually talking about this car and how it was the last V12 car to win a championship. Basically, what I took from it was they could have kept it a V10, but they decided to do like a tribute to someone influential in Honda. I can't remember his name. I should definitely learn it, and I'll add his name in right here. But I mean, the power could have been made with a V10, but he just really liked V12s. But with it being 3.5 liters, it was like, okay, well, if it's 3.5 liters from a V8, you're gonna get more torque down low. While a V12 is gonna be mean up top because the cylinders are smaller in order to stay within the 3.5 liters, and as a result, it's gonna be a beast up top. But you look right here between the three different models: V12, 770 horsepower, no torque. V12. I'm surprised that that's a 7-speed. But then you got the V10, which is the one I'm gonna go with if we do a league. 284 horsepower, so a little more torque, not much. And then you got the V8, which has a pretty big torque advantage. And of course, like I said, I don't plan on whatever league we decide to do. I don't plan on letting anybody use any of the McLarens because they're probably going to be the best in the class. Like, you know, this is a 3.5 liter V10. Everything else is like fictional stuff. But yeah, let's go ahead and hop on track. Like I said, we'll drive all three of them. And then I'll rank them based off lap time and driving style. So stay tuned. Alright, V8 Formula Classic 3.5 liter formula. I wish those days were still around where they'd let you But there was a little more freedom in the rules, right? It does feel damn quick out of the corners, but it has a pretty decent gap on horsepower. Does not feel slow though, I'll say that. Speaking of that MP4-6 though, um, it was a really interesting video because I guess Senna was calling the head engine guy like every day, making sure the car was reliable because they had to do so much more for packaging in order to make the car work. And with the extra heat that radiator that engine brings, you know, you gotta make sure you have enough space so that's the V8, probably based off the Ford V8. Ford DFV. Oh yeah, last thing. It has a pretty decent pitch to it outside of the car. In the car, it's kind of a deep sound though. Yeah, that's a pretty good sound. Actually, reminds me of the NA IndyCar sound. All right, V12. Yellow helmet. One thing that's crazy about the older cars is how much of the driver's like body you can see. Now, obvious safety reasons. That sound is amazing. It does feel faster up top. I know they have like shaders and packs for some of these cars so that the right drivers and names get put in, as well as like the team, so don't get me wrong, but I don't know. It would be cool to see another like officially licensed team on here. Obviously, with this being a Brazilian company, this thing it is faster for sure. At a track like this, you're definitely gonna be quicker. Now, a track with some slow corners, that torque advantage as I spin out. That torque advantage the V8 has definitely will bring its benefits. I also think it's crazy how this one is the only 7-speed. Yeah, I think this one is a paddle car, but obviously the other big big brand would be, you know, Ferrari. All right, the totally not Williams V10 car. I think this was a Peugeot or a Renault V10. That's right, a Renault V10. Let's see how it sounds. I definitely wish V10s were more like commonplace, but you know that's not the world we live in. Most people they do twin turbo V8 or they'll do NA V12. Then you got your um, occasional twin turbo V12. You know, like Pagani with the Wyra, and actually I can't think of too many other NA V12 or twin turbo V12 cars. But anyway, V10s, in my personal opinion, sound the best. Maybe not sound the best, but I love a good V10. You know, Peugeot 905, um, Carrera GT, Lexus LFA, even the Viper, being a much simpler V10 design, it still has a unique sound to it. Um, so I'm always gonna show the V10 some love, and then obviously the V10 like F1 cars. Both the 3 liters, you know, from the late '90s, and right at the end there, you know, the F2004. I think the V8s came in 2006, so F2004 and 2005. Those are, you know, some great V10 cars. But I mean, it's basic math, you know, like it doesn't quite have the V8 punch, and it doesn't quite have the V10 or the V12 top end. But you know, I believe in a balanced engine. So I'm gonna go off camera and see where I can get these cars as far as lap goes. I'm going to do 5 laps. We'll do 5 laps apiece. Here we'll just rank them. Like I said, for me, I think it would be cool if I'm not gonna do a champ car league, but we're doing open wheel. This will be the generation I would want to do it, and I think different engines dictate um, different crashing, dictate different driving styles, and I mean even in the quick little laps I've done, I can tell there's a difference. But anyways, I'm gonna go off camera and see where I can end up. I'm actually gonna try to catch like top speeds and everything too. 15,000 RPMs. 216 is so slow. Alright, third place is actually the V12 car. Now, I will admit, if you race these cars at Le Mans, the V12 is going to dog walk them. But what's crazy about it, it was hard for me to even adapt to the fact that it's a 7-speed transmission. And outside of that, I actually fried the rear tires before the fourth lap, which is crazy. Because normally, like with me, when my driving, I have to worry about the fronts. You know, the answer to that, you dial the brake bias back. The fact that I fried the back tires let me know I was driving it like a 6-speed, so I was always making the absolute most power. So it's almost better to drive it like 8/10 or 7/10. It's a missile though. Definitely a fun car, but like I said, I went into it with the bias. It was gonna take a lot to change that. I think the V8 surprised me, and the V10 that was gonna be my favorite. I was gonna use that for racing regardless. But you know, fun time, fun cars. But yeah, the V12 feels like a monster. It's just so mean up top, but you have to drive it like it's a 7-speed. While the others are 6 speeds. Otherwise, you'll fry the rear tires as I spin out. Alright, second place, I got the V8 power car. Now it does make the least amount of power, but it makes up for that by making the most torque. And you do feel that. Now it's not like it's a V8 that revs to 8,500. It still revs to like 13,000, so it still feels like a F1 type of engine. So I actually was smiling the most when I drove this, simply because it surprised me. Now, I openly admit I'm biased towards the V10, but with this one, I don't know if it's just the chassis or the delivery of the power, but it felt the most drivable of the three. And the times were so close between them. I think it was like 2/10 between the V10 and the V8. But I mean, I put it in the replay so you could see it in motion with some of the other cars. But that's what I got at in second place, the V8 car. One more left. Alright, what's going on, guys? First thing, man, I keep saying how much fun this sim is, and nothing's changed with it. First place, I actually got the V10 Williams, or I don't even want to call it a Williams because Williams isn't in the game. I'm gonna call it a Willie. But anyway, the V10 car, like nothing changed as far as my bias goes. I do love me some good V10s. The other V10 I was thinking about was actually the TS010, the rib cage breaker or whatever you want to call it, the Group C car. But all three engines actually have their distinct things about them. But that being said, I just had a bomb race at Suzuka with the V10 car. Comment which of the three you would want to use if you would race with us. Actually gonna start reaching out and messaging people that hop on AMS2, because I want to get a group together, man. I still don't know if I like these more than the Formula USA Gen 3 cars, but comment down below. Like I said, stay tuned for more, because we're gonna keep putting out content. Come hang out sometime. Apex Vision out.